What is up, everybody? I'm NoLexGiven, and today I am back with some more sweet Storybook Brawl content. It has been a year of daily Storybook Brawl videos. I started this last November, and I have had to take some breaks. I got COVID, I had a heart attack, but over the past year, I've uploaded over 400 Storybook Brawl videos on this channel. So I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna say that this is a year anniversary of daily Storybook Brawl uploads. I think you guys will give me that as well. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited as my health is getting a little bit better to get back into it and keep doing what I love here and sharing some sweet Storybook Brawl moments. So today we are going to be taking a look at Goldilocks, which for my data is currently the best hero in the game. And it's going to sound a little bit hyperbolic. This is a brand new hero. I don't have too much data on it. But this is my fourth Goldilocks game that I'm showcasing on the channel. I've showcased 3 Goldilocks games previously, all wins. A few of those really fantastic and powerful games. But this is the 4th game that I'm showcasing, and this is the 4th Goldilocks game that I played. So I'm 3-0 right now, all wins, no losses on any of my previous Goldilocks games, getting first place every single time. And that's a pretty good record of first place average finish. And I'm gonna see how long I can keep that streak going on for. And at the start of this game, it is a pretty nice one at that. Getting to pick up golden chicken, as I've talked about before, is really good on Goldilocks, because you can sell that golden chicken on 3.0. You have 5 gold normally, then you have 7 gold because you're Goldilocks. I'm gonna lose my Humpty Dumpty here, but it doesn't matter because we have this golden chicken, so we can pick up 3 level 3 characters with 9 gold for the turn. But we also have roll the die, so we actually get to pick up this entire shop if we want to. And part of the strength of picking up this entire shop is then we'll be stronger and be able to protect this prized pig, and we'll have some additional gold moving forward for the rest of the game. Now, interestingly, I get pretty lucky that the roll the die lands on the mummy. I would have liked the roll the die either on the mummy or the donkey. I could have guaranteed what the roll the die landed on by purchasing everything else first and then rolling the die for the last thing available in the shop. So small mistake there, but it's not going to matter because we got it on the mummy anyways, and now we're going to have additional gold for this 3.1 turn. This is a really cool shop. I strongly consider picking up this Good Witch, using that to support the donkey and the Romeo, but it's hard to pass up a True Love's Kiss this early in the game. That's going to give me Fanny, which pushes us into this dwarf route. This video is probably called Dwarfilocks or Goldie Dwarfs. I think I like, now saying them out loud, I think I like Dwarfilocks better. I think that has a better ring to it. So I'll probably go with that one. But basically, when I've played Goldilocks in the past, I think I did have a game previously where I hit level 5 and was able to pick up an Angry and a Tweedle with no other dwarf support. Just those are 2 pretty strong characters and represent a ton of stats. They have some synergy with each other. We were able to do some nice stuff with that. And that kind of got me thinking, what if you played into that dwarven aspect, knowing that you were going to be able to have easier access to dwarves on those level up turns as Goldilocks? Unfortunately, on that combat, we get a little bit owned by the baby dragon, but the rest of this turn winds up going pretty well for us. We pick up a mummy, which allows us to find a haunted helm, which is a really good combo with the doubly that we already have at 1030 on 3.2 is just really strong. And then I'm going to wind up picking up a Mad Mim. And despite the fact that we do not have a golden chicken still to sell off on 4.0, I think we're strong enough that we're going to be able to hang on to this prized pig, and then we can use that as the +2 gold, and we'll be able to pick up, so we'll have 8 gold naturally, +2 from Goldilocks, +2 more. We'll be able to just pick up 3 level 4 characters naturally on 4.0. So that plus 2 gold really, really works on Goldilocks. And same thing when you hit level 5 as well. It goes from 11 to 13 to 15 if you can find 2 extra gold somehow. So we are going to get that extra gold here. But unfortunately, we don't find any dwarves, and we don't really even find any great units. Gingerbread Knight is not great when you've got 33 health, and we're going to stay strong because we're Goldilocks. Juliet is kind of cute. We could have held on to the Romeo knowing that we'd have a higher chance to find Juliet when we hit 4.0, but ultimately that shop just really isn't going to impress me. I could have gone for Feasting Dragon here, take out the Vampire. I don't think that would have been that bad, though I'm much more interested in Lightning Dragon just as a good disruptive unit. Then I wind up using my last 2 gold to pick up Crafty to replace the Vampire, and also Crafty is going to be bigger than the Feasting Dragon. We get to play an 8/8 rather than a 6/8. It could be relevant, but I also do want to try to make this dwarf thing work. The big thing about dwarves is they're typically not the best end game comp, but you can get into the comp a little bit quicker than you can get into some other end game comps. And when you can do that, you can just be stronger than the rest of the lobby temporarily. So it's a very aggressive strategy, but I think it's one that works pretty well on Goldilocks, and that is why we are going to try to explore it here. Still on level 4, so I'd like to potentially try to pick up some more dwarves or some more pairs of some of these other things that we got going on. Fanny is also going to be a pair and a dwarf, so definitely going to want that one. Could pick up the Crafty, so that way I've got another character to support by that and potentially build into a tier 2 treasure as well. And we can pick it up basically for free here by using the Forbidden Fruit and selling off the Madman. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I mix around which Crafty and Doubly should go in slot 1. Do I want Doubly to get the bonus from both Fannies, or do I want it to get the Helm bonus? Ultimately, I think a 10-30 and a 12-12 is the way to go. So that's what we wind up looking at here. But this pup is really strong. They've got double Princess Peep plus a Black Cat and 2 really good supports for both of those characters as well. So we are going to wind up taking a little bit more damage here, almost in Gingerbread Knight range, but not quite. And then we'll wind up picking up a Fanny triple and grabbing a tier 4 treasure from that. And 3 of Shields looks really cool on dwarves. Obviously, it's pretty good with the Doubly. We'll get to give that plus 6 health. It's like a 6 of Shields. And then it'll also work nicely on this Greedy, which we can grab some additional econ out of here. And then the question from here is, do we want to play the Prized Pig on the level up turn? There's also the option of potentially selling 2 things and playing another Lightning Dragon, just trying to be a little bit stronger. So ultimately, that is what I'm going to go for. Still a question of if I want to play this Prized Pig on the level up turn though, and ultimately I'm just going to decide to play the strongest board that I can. Snow Angel is also, I think, a really strong hero, and I want to respect Snow Angel here. So playing both of my Lightning Dragons, and looks like my opponent is pretty strong. The one thing that I did want to point out though too is that while I'm not playing Prized Pig, I am able to get 2 bonus gold from Greedy. So playing Prized Pig might have been a little bit more greedy on top of that. We're still going to have the 15 gold for the turn in order to pick up 3 tier 5 units. And you can see exactly why I like Dwarfilocks right from this shop. We get to pick up 2 Angries, which is a huge power spike just by itself. But the fact that we were also able to play into that a little bit and pick up some other dwarves is quite good. Now I do have to sell 2 things if I want to play this Merlin's Test onto Lancelot and grab a free tier 5 treasure. So I also don't want to break up my pairs. I wind up selling off the Doubly and the Prized Pig as well as the Mummy. I think I kind of wind up regretting that pretty soon after I make that sale, but I'm happy enough to be able to grab a tier 5 treasure here. We're up against the lobby leader, so we've got no clue what they have got cooking, And turns out they've got a Spear of Achilles. So they are actually quite strong for this stage in the game, and they are going to be a little bit tough to beat here. We're going to take a little bit of damage. We take 13 down to 10, but we get to grab our tier 5 treasure. And Horn of Olympus seems like a sweet one with this upgraded fanny. Now we'll get to give all of our dwarves that +8/+8 in the front row. Still wish I had the doubly, especially at this point, but I'm going to wind up picking up Lightning Dragon. Certainly looking for Evil Eye here, and with Evil Eye plus Horn and a Lancelot, maybe that would have pushed me in a different direction away from dwarves. However, no Evil Eye to be found, so going to wind up just picking up a Fool's Gold, which I think is going to serve us well, both while we just remain level 5 for the next 2 turns, but then also once we hit level 6 to allow us to find the characters that we really want. There was an interesting decision there, for sure, in terms of whether we get rid of the Haunted Helm or we get rid of our 3 of shields. Ultimately, I decided having one big angry in the front was better than giving everything a little bit of health, because that way this first angry is just more likely to start getting those triggers. But ultimately, I'm not sure how much it really mattered. We are going to wind up taking 8 damage down to 2, a really, really close combat, but we walk out of that with a little bit of extra gold from the Greedy. I think we got 1 extra gold from the Greedy. That opponent was quite strong. And then some extra gold from the Fool's Gold. So just doing some rolling on 5.2. The big thing is that next turn, we really, really want to hit a Lordy. And now that we get to pick up Hand of Midas, we super really want to hit a Lordy. Possibly should have picked up the Crafty before I picked up the Hand of Midas triple, or the triple rather, and then picked up the Hand of Midas, because then I can't buy anything for the rest of the turn after that. But here's where we're at. 2 health, not looking so hot. The last 2 opponents beat us pretty dang good, but next turn we're going to see 5 level 6 characters. If one of those is Lordy, then we'll have an upgraded Lordy thanks to Hand of Midas, and that really should be enough to turn the game around. That is going to be an absolutely massive, massive power spike, and should by itself be able to help us get back in the game. So let's see if we are able to do it here. We are going to wind up beating up on the Ghost, and we've got a few extra coin from Greedy and from the Fool's Gold, and we do indeed find that Lordy. So upgraded Lordy on 6.0, pretty nice stuff. At this point, we basically just want Echo Wood and Tweedle, which we find here, and then potentially a doubly to round out the board. But I think that we are in a really, really good position despite being at 2 health. I think that we hit a huge, massive power spike this turn, and hopefully that is going to be enough to let us get back into the game. I do want to add another dwarf to the board at some point, but I really didn't want to waste any gold picking up a dwarf that I'm not going to play forever when I eventually want to find an Echo Wood or a doubly, something that's really worth spending our gold on. So ultimately, playing a Lightning Dragon for 1 turn I don't think is super terrible. Doesn't wind up doing anything here, just attacks in and dies. My opponent also takes out 1 of my Greedies. So this combat gets really, really close, but we've got a really large Tweedle that's able to take out both of my opponent's large frontline characters, and then we also take out their ranged character, which could have spelled trouble for us. So looking good. We had an 84% chance to win on that one. Feeling good, and though there aren't many tier 4 treasures left that would be super fantastic for us, I do really like Deck of Many Things. Once you hit level 6, that can be a nice one there. And I do consider Hercules as well, also tiny, just to pick up something, but I'm going to keep rolling, and I'm glad that I do, because then we get to add an Echo Wood to this board. And yeah, I'd like to potentially replace the Lightning Dragon with another dwarf at some point, but regardless, this Echo Wood is going to be a huge, huge power spike. Gets to be absolutely massive when the Tweedle dies. And I'm hoping that that is going to be enough to take out this Morgan. or at least not die. Maybe we can get a tie or something. They're looking really strong as the lobby leader, still here with 36 health. They beat us up pretty bad last time, but we are significantly stronger since then. Their soul tack protects their Echo Wood from dying there, which is really unfortunate, and then Medusa scams some of our front line, but we get the 50-50 on that final attack and find the tie and stay alive. A really, really close one at the end there. You can see we were 60% to win, only 1 in 4 to lose, but that still felt way, way too close. Now we are playing up against the Ghost, so we are going to have a little bit of a break, and I'm going to wind up rolling down past all of these monster books. Maybe we could like replace the horn or something, but I don't know. I'm not excited by an evil eye at this point in the game, so we're just going to keep rolling past all of these monster book temptations, and we find another Echo Wood. Just in time, we get to sell off our full bench and pick that up. And now we just have to figure out what we are playing for this last, or this next combat up against this Ghost. And interestingly, it actually is, so I want to play the greedy, right? Because we're playing up against the Ghost. Question is like, how greedy can I be? If I were to play the doubly, that actually makes the greedy bigger. Instead of the Echo Wood, I'm playing this angry in hopes to make the greedy bigger, just so that way we can get a few angry triggers onto that and try to grab a little bit of additional gold here. I think I wound up playing an appropriate level of greed and strength here, because we're going to wind up needing both of these Echo Woods. We don't find ourselves getting scammed by any of this pumpkin stuff, which is really good, but my opponent did still just have a pretty strong board, so I'm glad that we played it quite strong there. And we actually see that the Miri has beaten the Morgan in the last combat, so they are going to be a little bit scary now. We're going to put in another Tweedle, and then we're going to triple that, grab a tier 5 treasure and Ambrosia, pretty good treasure for dwarves. So I'm going to go ahead and toss the Fool's Gold now. We've gotten more than enough value out of that. Just have to figure out what to put in the Ambrosia slot, whether that's the doubly or the Echo Wood. If we put in the doubly, then that's giving more stats to both of the Echo Woods, though if we just put the Echo Wood in there, it's kind of safer. That allows us to backline both of the Echo Woods so they can't get scammed, and also the Echo Wood gets to watch the Tweedle die in the front row, so that'll make the Echo Wood stronger as well, and ultimately that is just what I'm going to go for, and I'm hoping that this is going to be enough against this Miri. We have seen that they have now transitioned into a Princess P comp, and I'm going to rewind for a second because it's actually pretty big on this combat that my opponent has their Phoenix Feather Mimic Chest character die first, so they don't get to make use of their Mimic Chest. They only get to grab one additional Empress P with that Phoenix Feather, which means I'm able to take out that backline Boomhilda and actually get a kill onto Miri thanks to my upgraded Echo Wood. So we're on to the finals. Pretty good stuff. 2 health though against 24. And we've still got a little bit of a battle to go. I'm going to wind up picking up a doubly and then tripling it into a triply. Not going to worry about these treasures, but that's going to give us some additional stats onto our Echo Wood and definitely solves the question of what should I be Ambrosia-ing. Though if I am able to find a Lordy, that would be really, really good because I could throw that in the Ambrosia slot. But instead, I'm just going to lock onto this Pigomorph. If you remember, we were almost 2 out of 3 to beat my opponent the last time we played up against them, and we've gotten stronger since then. So I am feeling pretty good. We've now got an upgraded Echo Wood, upgraded doubly, upgraded Tweedle, all since the last time we fought them. So I'm thinking this is going to be good. Might take 2 combats to take them out, so a Pigomorph for the second one I think will be strong. But let's see if we have enough for this first combat. Their Medusa attacks in and hits on my Lordy, which is the best possible target for us. Super lucky with that one. And my Echo Wood is just a little bit smaller than theirs, but enough that I think we are going to be able to take it out here. We take out their Echo Wood, take out their ranged character, hit them for 10, and now we just got to do it one more time. Again, 55% chance to win, that's gone down slightly actually, and a 1 in 3 chance to lose. So really, really close one. And now we are adding a pigomorph to this final fight. And that should really be enough to push us over the edge and secure this win. But this was a really, really close one. We got down to 2 HP and there were some really, really close calls. But ultimately, I think we are going to be able to pull it out again with Goldilocks and get a 4th first place finish in 4 games, which is really, really incredible. But I suppose we'll see how this one goes first. My opponent actually changes up their board pretty significantly for the final fight. Some of that is going to work out in our favor. They wind up cutting their soul tack, which means that when my deck of many things rolls a fireball, we are able to take out their echo wood to start things off here. So that works out really, really nice. And then we pigomorph one of their good boys that they added in, and we are also able to attack into their Medusa, which they put into the 4th position. So ultimately, it just winds up going even better than we could have imagined on this final fight, and we easily are able to clean up my opponent and grab the win in one final combat. We hit them for 17 damage and grab another first place finish on Goldilocks. But what is absolutely incredible about this hero is that you've now seen that I'm 4 for 4. I don't want to spoil this too much, but this streak continues. So we are going to be taking a look at every Goldilocks game that I play. I'll say this, right now, live, the streak is still alive. I have not lost on Goldilocks. I have only gotten first place finishes. That is why I am so high on this hero. I won't spoil how many games that I've played, so that way when I do eventually show a Goldie loss, then that'll be a surprise as well. But this hero has just been performing super, super well for me. There's so many powerful things that it can do, and it does them all very well and very consistently. That is going to be it for me today. Hopefully we can continue and get back on track with the daily Storybook Brawl videos. It's been a ton of fun to do this over the past year, and hoping to keep it going, keep growing the channel, passing that 1K mark, and just having fun playing this game that I love. That is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Legs Given. Peace.